So just like with getting into college the first time, like out of high school, I'm pretty sure that the very first college that I heard back from was the one that I ended up going to, was the one I was accepted to, University of California, Santa Barbara. However, unlike the first time, I did not get into a single other school, whereas the first time I got into every single school. So anyway, yay, UCSB, go Gauchos. And the choice was made to move up to Santa Barbara. So a couple things. I was not completely a stranger to Santa Barbara. We had actually gone up a couple times for Deltopia. And I'll talk about that. Deltopia. It used to be Floatopia, but there's a reason why. Because people kept, like, they used to go on their floaties out in the ocean, but people kept drowning and dying. Drowning, same thing. So they changed it to Deltopia to not have drunk people out on these floaties. But if you haven't heard College Town, College City, Party Central, that's all people know about Isla Vista, which is the immediate little college town that is outside of the University of California, Santa Barbara. There's a whole lot about UCSB that I don't think people realize. And the biggest thing is that the curriculum, the science curriculum, the undergraduate science curriculum, and the resources that we had at our disposal, aka the tutoring services, the whole CLAS tutoring service program was stellar, was exemplary, was unlike anything that we had at UCLA that the average student had access to. And I think 50% of my class, of the freshman year class, which of course I wasn't a part of, that year, the year I got in, 2014, so I was there 2014 to 2016. 2 years at UCLA, 2011 to 2013, 2014 to 2016. Not that it matters. So, 50% of the class was first-time college students. First grad generation college students, like myself. So these things matter. Like UCSB, if I'm not mistaken, was also more diverse. And I just was a lot more supported, and I felt like the quality of my education was much higher. I don't know if I've said this, but the organic chemistry textbook, which I literally still have because it is such a holy shit, well-designed, well-written textbook. The professor that wrote that textbook was the head of the chemistry department at UCSB, Paula Bruce. No need to give her a pseudonym. And when I say it was a well-designed textbook, it was a very, very well-written organic chemistry curriculum, which is something that organic chemistry is something that people normally have a hard time with. I absolutely loved it. It's my absolute favorite kind of chemistry, organic chemistry. We could talk about it anyway. Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of the growing pains of UCSB or just in general. So because it was that was a good thing that it was quarter system to quarter system. So I think the only UC that's on the semester is UC Berkeley. So that would have made things a lot more difficult. But the transfer process was kind of rocky. They did not accept all of my coursework from UCLA. And it was because they didn't meet the standards for UCSB. So I entered as a biochemistry Bachelor of Science, and I ended up graduating chemistry Bachelor of Arts to finish in 4 years because I had already technically taken that entire year off. And I am insanely proud of myself for doing that because it was not effing easy, and I basically double majored in chemistry and biology because for like the first year I was still doing the biochem route, and then it was like, well, and also I needed to do the vet school prereq, so it's also worth mentioning that. I'm gonna talk about the vet hospital that I worked at. The first one that I worked at when I moved, because I actually started working there before classes started at UCSB. But UCSB was a really, really nice change. Like I said, just the support. That's the first time actually that I built like a group of friends. So and I reconnected with my family. So my mom and brother actually helped us, because actually Jane's parents also came and they helped us move up to Santa Barbara, which is again only 2 hours north of UCLA. And it was I remember like my mom having this feeling and saying that she felt it was a good change, it was going to be a good thing, and I kind of feeling it was going to be a good change and a good thing. Again, all I want to do is get the hell out of UCLA and LA really. And okay, this was what I knew I was forgetting something. So Jane's little sister was going to UCSB. I don't think I've ever said that before. So it was kind of like we already had a community there, right? And given how serious and close Jane and I were being, I thought, it was, cool that her sister went to UCSB already. And she was in a science major, so we were in we were even a couple of the same classes at one point. Yeah, with Jane's little sister, I remember. So that is UCSB, moving to Santa Barbara, technically Isla Vista. And I'll say this, like, guys, living literally 2 blocks from the ocean and then a half a block from campus, and that, not only that, but it was the nicest apartment I've ever lived in. Yeah, that was the nicest apartment, because the house I lived in was a little bit later, was nicer, but apartment wise, this was the nicest place. Yeah. Parking, everything. Yeah. On Sábado Tarde. I even remember the number, but I'm not going to say it. But on Sábado Tarde Road. So the streets in Isla Vista were named after, were such cool little names. But, okay. So, move to Santa Barbara. We didn't directly move into that place. There was a place that we stayed at first, and before we moved there, Jane and I again move in together, and maybe that's where I'll lead into the next part, because her parents did not want us living together, and she broke the rules. She broke their rules to do that. And even though she was graduated from UCLA, if I'm not mistaken, there was like a credit or 2 that she was missing, that she like petitioned and got special permission to complete at UCSB. Again, the circumstances of her sister and her sister's death made this, special circumstances that she got permission for. But anyway, so that's maybe where I'll lead into, because Jane and I had like a year together, living together in Santa Barbara, but it's not like our relationship was necessarily the best. It was just, as in her words, I hated when she said this, but it was like kind of true. You're like an old married couple, grumpy old married couple. So anyway.